Well, hello there, my friendly neighborhood Mr. Whipple. That kind of does sound like it could be a kid's, like Mr. Rogers, Mr. Whipple. Anyway, so you found your way from the dashboard to site instructions, and here you found the video under Johnny's instructions, which is great. So, I'm going to run over a couple really quick things. First of all, if you want to jump to any page or post or site note to edit it, this is a handy little mechanism called the jump menu. Rather than having to go to pages, all pages, wait for that to load, and of course, this is running a little slow because my video program is recording, and then clicking on edit on test page to open up the editor. Instead of going through all that rigmarole, whenever you're in the dashboard, anywhere, doing anything, all you have to do is click on this button, click on the name of the post or page, and it'll go directly to it. Now, this says there's an autosave of this. That's because earlier I was in here getting some information from here. This is just for me to build tables and stuff like that. And as you know, it doesn't show up on the front end. The reason it doesn't show up on the front end is because I disabled or I replaced the default menu that happens automatically with the menu down here, over here. This is where you can build, move around, add, take away menus, and the theme that I installed, it's a professional theme that I have licensed to called Weaver 2 Pro. It allows for these different menu types here. And then of course I created the footer menu and the legal menu, and then I placed them in widgets. But this is where you go for your menus. Um, I won't get into the theme right now because there's nothing really for you to worry about right there at this point. Um, but I will show you how to put information in the home page in those boxes. If you're not familiar with a short code, what that is basically rather than seeing code that has all the HTML tags, it's called short code because on the keyboard you don't have to press shift to hit these little brackets, and it can be entered directly on the editor screen. Okay, and if you notice, I was going back and forth. There's a text editor. This is for going in and editing code, and this is the kind of what you see is what you get, the WYSIWYG editor. Okay, and some of these buttons up here, you don't really have to worry about at this point, but feel free to go on the test page and click these buttons. You're not going to break anything, and see what they do. Um, Now, in order to get the view on the home page that we wanted, there's little tricks of the trade. The designer, Goran, he put shadows on either side of those columns. Well, the problem with that is that those are image shadows, and there's no real way in uh, website language to say I want a shadow on the left or a shadow on the right. I can put a border on just the right or the left, but I can't just put a shadow on just the sides and not the top and bottom. It just doesn't work that way. So rather than fooling around with a static image size, I just decided to use this fancy little shortcode plugin. It's called Elegant Themes Shortcodes, and that's what's installed these little buttons here, and it gives you all these wonderful, wonderful shortcodes for doing all this wonderful, wonderful stuff. And those boxes are one of them. So you'll see here what I did was, first off, I used the 1/4 shortcode because we have 4 sections. Otherwise, this box would stretch all the way across, right? The box type shadow, and I did a little custom styling to it just to give it what we want on this page. But here, right in here, in between the box and the box, is where you will put content. Okay? Make sure that you don't remove either of the brackets on either side. And it looks all jumbled up, and that's okay, because in the editor, if I were to press enter, watch what happens. Okay, so I go 1/4, and let's say, oh, I want it to look nice like on WordPress, and I press enter. Well, on the visual editor you don't see it, but what that has done is it's created HTML on the back. So if I go back to my HTML, what that has done, and you don't see it, is it's created a paragraph tag. So if I were to save this like this, and I will, I'll just do it because it's not like it's going to break anything. More than likely, our whole system here is going to be kind of screwed up. And it wasn't, so that's good to know. But you do want to be careful. It's not a good idea just to kind of throw things around on the visual editor and not, if you're going to be using shortcodes or doing anything like that, or working with those, just hop over to the text editor, because all you're going to do is copy and paste or type your content in between there. And the same thing, just, it's not that confusing. Just find the end of the bracket. I will be putting content in here. And shortcodes are a very, very popular thing in WordPress. So get used to seeing them for different things. As a matter of fact, because of the element tree of our slider, rather than use the slider that you had suggested at this point, because I wanted to get this up and moving and going, I just used the built-in slider from the shortcodes plugin, and I just took and that's what I used the test page for. I built some tables so that we could have our buttons separated and we could still have our image and all that good jazz. Okay, so for the home page, you are simply going to let's see, and I accidentally hit something. I hit a button. Don't want to hit buttons. And see, now, actually I had saved it when I came back, so if I just leave this page, and I'll do that, up here at the top menu bar, see what happens when you get no sleep. You can also hop over to create a new whatever. Now here's the difference between a page and a post. Think of it this way. A page is the upper canvas. A post is a section of that canvas. And posts act differently than pages, even though you can create them and put information on them the same way, as far as, images and content and all that, and it may look the same on the front end. They act differently through the system. Okay, you can categorize the posts, and you can display them as excerpts, and I know you've seen it, so you know what I'm talking about. um, and that is your blog. So if you want to start throwing stuff on your blog page, you're going to create posts. And since that page is assigned as the blog page, and it is got a post page template, if you go into create a new post and you publish it, it will show up on the blog page automatically. So if I say Johnny's test post, and I don't think I put it on here, did I? No. There's a Lorem Ipsum short code for this, but I just say blah 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 blah. Okay, here's where you can pick the layout, the format layout. Here is where you would pick a category. We haven't made any categories yet. The SEO settings we won't worry about right now. We can always come back to those. But those are important. And don't worry about this up here. The reason I don't have it being indexed at this point is because we're still working on pages and content. So we don't want Google to even stop by until we're ready for them. So I'll take care of that when the time comes. Also, I like to move this up here because it makes it handy for us. You see how I'm moving this box around? This will allow or disallow comments and pingbacks and trackbacks. I usually don't deal with those if I'm using analytics or whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. There you go. I've got blah 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 blicka 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 blacka 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 blacka. And let's go over to our blog page and see. What do you know? Now they're side by side right now, because that is the template format that I must have picked. But we can hop here. We can jump over to our blog page. Where is it? There it is. And this is a page, remember. Okay? Even though the posts are showing as excerpts, this is the page. And you notice there's nothing here because this is a page with posts. Somebody's calling. Oh, so this is something new in my theme. I'm going to hop over to my settings to reading, and I am going to remove that because my theme actually has this built-in mechanism for displaying posts, and it has a lot more features as page with posts than any of the WordPress built-in features. So we want to make sure that we're using this theme to the most of its abilities because it is awesome. And as you get more familiarized with WordPress and jump around to the theme, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. So we want to display posts as excerpts. Down here, just a quick run through. You can assign a category, tags. You can show just a single post on this page. Let's see here. We can choose whether we want sidebars or not, what kind of sidebars, left, right. And we don't have any right now on our pages because at the point that we were at, we didn't, the design didn't show that we had any sidebars. But that's always a possibility. One thing to know about this theme, it's not like any others. We can literally customize every single page to look completely different. I mean, it could literally look like a completely different website from one page to the other with this theme. So anything that you really want to do, we can do within a certain, limit parameters. But we can pretty much do anything we want. So again, I fixed that so now we're showing all these things. All these options can be changed. The color can be changed. Um, the font size, color, the link color, everything can be changed. Okay, so these are just examples right now because we haven't gotten that far. You'll notice that I added an opacity mouse over feature. The reason I did not use his darker is because this is a much easier process. His is much, much more difficult to do and to implement on our layout. If it were easier to do, I would have done it, believe me. But because of where the links are, it's just easier to run these at a 0.9 opacity on the mouse over, and it gives it just that little bit of difference that people know that there's activity there. Plus, we have the pointer. Okay, and I think that's a better, you know, with all due respect to Goran, he's the designer, and I know he wants things to look a certain way, but by the time it gets digested and given to me, I will do my utmost to make things look exactly as the design, but there has to be minute, areas for compromise when it comes to actually realizing the design through code. And I think I've done a pretty good job so far of, getting exact. But there might be some things that are off in his eyes as a designer because he knows and designed it, just perfectly. Um, and if they are, then they're either off because I overlooked it or because that's just the way it's going to have to be. And so there you go. So, again, quick recap. If you want to add posts, you can either go from the jump menu here, you can go new post, you can hover over post and go add new post, and that will be for your blog. That's what those are for. I think we're set up on pages so far. We can always add more later. And you notice that some of the pages don't show up on the top menu. That's why I reverted over to using the the built-in WordPress menu system. Um, so if you have information, now there is some plugins that I can use, or well, I could use the short code for a fact. There is a fact plugin which will populate, and it kind of has an accordion effect and things like that. And that's something to consider. It's really clean and it makes it look nice. Contact form plugin I can put in here. Um, you can find or write your privacy policy, terms of use, and I'll take care of the sign up, thank you, and video page as far as formatting them. I just need to get the video, whatever video it is you're giving away. And that's about it. I mean, really, that is about it. All you need to do is just hop on the About page, and if it doesn't already have some kind of formatting, or even if it does, for instance, even if it had what we have on the home page, and you kind of decided, well, I don't want to mess with that because I don't want to mess it up. I mean, not like I can't go back and fix it, but this is just the old sample page content. There's nothing there, it's just example stuff. But you could always just come into the visual editor and, throw in a horizontal rule, right? It's a line, an HR, and then just start typing in new content here and let Johnny format it later. If we want it in some kind of special box or something like that. Don't let the design hold you up for putting content, because I can copy and paste and move stuff around real quick if it's there. If it's not there, then I'm making these blank boxes and then I'm putting dummy information in there just to give you something to work within. And either way, it doesn't matter to me, but you have those options. So that's really it. Get busy. You got plenty of work to do, because we got how many pages here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, the blog will count. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got about 10 pages that you got to get some information on, and then that doesn't count all the posts that you're gonna have to start putting out. I mean, you got a long road ahead of you. You know that, Mister. And so that's it for right now. I'll make you another video on demand if you have any more questions. And if it's something that I can put really easily in writing as a kind of a short instruction, maybe some screen caps with some arrows and stuff like that, then just ask and I will place it in a new post on our site instructions, and we'll go from there. So the blah 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 will be no longer there, and you will be watching this wonderful video, and you have it to always look back on. Isn't that special? All right, Bruce, I will talk to you later.